delicious sourdough bagels. Let's get started. Make sure to feed your starter the night before so that she's nice and bubbly for the next day of baking. Into your stand mixer bowl, add 225 grams of water, 10 grams of salt, 100 grams of your risen starter, 20 grams of honey. I'm using raw honey, but you can also substitute for sugar if you don't have any. It's always good to see that the starter is floating in the water. If you don't know what the float test is, leave a comment and I'll let you know what it is. Mix these ingredients thoroughly. Add 450 grams of bread flour. Stir these ingredients until a dry dough has formed. Bagels are a very low hydration dough, so you want to get it at least shaggy before putting it in the stand mixer. Ensure that your stand mixer has the dough hook attached and transition your bowl into the stand mixer for 1 minute on low speed. Increase the speed to medium and knead for 8 minutes. Now the 8 minutes are finished, go ahead and take your dough out of the bowl and knead it into a ball. Oil your bowl. Now place your dough into the oiled bowl for the bulk fermentation. Cover the dough with saran wrap. Leave the dough alone for 6 to 8 hours or until it is doubled in size. Now that we've ended the bulk fermentation, take your dough out of the bowl and flatten it onto your surface. It's not really important to worry about keeping the bubbles in this dough, bagel dough. It doesn't matter. So just go ahead and flatten it out into a big rectangle. Divide your dough into 6 equal pieces. You can weigh each piece of dough to ensure that they're similar sizes, or you can just do it by eye. Now that each piece of dough is the same weight, go ahead and stretch and fold to create a seamless side on one side of your dough ball. And after you stretch and fold so that it looks like this on one side and this on the other, go ahead and roll it on your surface to create a smooth ball. Now that you have rolled every piece of dough, cover them with a tea towel and let them rest for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, grab some cornmeal and sprinkle it onto your baking sheet. Now that your dough balls have been resting for 15 minutes, it's time to mold them into that classic bagel shape. Sprinkle a little bit of bread flour on top of each dough ball, and then rub it in a little bit on each one. Now how we're going to shape them is taking our thumb and pushing it directly through the center of the dough ball. See how it comes through on the other side? Now you're going to push your other finger inside as well and start turning it to widen the hole. I like to do a little bit of this cartwheel action and then also a little bit of stretching it in this way, just to make sure that it's really even. You also want to make sure that the hole is much bigger than what you would think of for a bagel hole, because as soon as you place it down on your baking sheet, it's going to shrink up, and then especially once it bakes and cools overnight, it's going to shrink as well. So once you have it how you want it, go ahead and place it on your baking sheet. Repeat the process for the other 5. Now that your bagels are shaped, cover them with a tea towel and let them rest for 3 to 4 hours or until they double in size. The bagels are done resting, so that means it is time to put them in the refrigerator overnight, and we will take them out in the morning. Good morning, it's time to continue the bagel recipe. So the first thing we're going to do this morning is preheat our oven to 450 degrees. Boil your water on the stove and add honey to it. Drop 3 bagels in at a time and flip them after 1 minute of boiling. Do 1 minute on the other side and then remove the bagels. Let them rest while you prepare your seasonings. I have everything seasoning, sesame seeds, and poppy seeds. After a bagel has cooled down a little bit, but not too much, grab it and roll it around in your seasoning. Your bagels should be looking like this after you cover them in your preferred seasonings. Now that your bagels are topped with your seasonings, put them in your preheated oven for 20 minutes. It is finally time for the taste test. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. There is an incredible sourdough flavor in these bagels, and you can see the texture is super fluffy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more sourdough recipes.